The Filipino Phoenix has done it again. If there were any questions about TNC's reputation as a top-tier team, they have been quashed. TNC is here. They're lean, they're mean, and have taken their rightful spot among the best Dota teams in the world. TNC is now among the 2 SEA teams in the world to have won a major, the old Mineski being the only other team to do so. It's easy to relish the glory and bask in the spotlight. The journey to acquire this glory, though, has been laborious. Let's have a look at TNC's road to their victory at MDL Chengdu. Their road began at the dawn of the international line. TNC had just been knocked out by Team Liquid at the 9th to 12th place. While the result was a steady improvement from the finish at the previous TI, TNC knew they could have done better. On 13th September 2019, TNC underwent a shocking roster change.
Ako mismo personally, I would like to express my sincere thanks para kay Kuku at kay AU sa pag-stay nila sa TNC from the start of our run. Naging successful yung TI6 run namin with Kuku and AU.
The team's longtime poster child, Kuku, left the team alongside their captain, AU. In a surprise move, TNC announced that they would be adding KP and March to their roster. The addition took the entire community by surprise. Their very first challenge of the season came in the form of the WESG 2019 Philippines qualifiers. They had to face up-and-coming teams such as Adroit and Signal Ultra and the old hounds of Execration. The first win for the roster did not come easy, as they played a nearly 80-minute game against Adroit. Yet, the squad was determined to improve, and as time went by, they won each game more convincingly than the last one. In the end, they qualified by beating Execration 2-1. But TNC had a lot more work to do if it wanted to surpass their former roster. So, they put their heads down and worked on it. Soon enough, the first major of the season was announced. TNC topped their group and was placed into the upper bracket to face off against Adroit for the qualification spot. Yet, they did not expect what came next. TNC lost the first match to Adroit, starting off the series on a back foot.
Damn! I think TNC gotta respect that Magnus. Adroit's pretty comfortable with that pick.
TNC had taken Game 1 as a learning lesson and banned the problem-causing Magnus, and picked a much higher tempo lineup of Io and Gyrocopter. The mix-up worked, and TNC secured Game 2 in 26 minutes, returning the favor to Adroit. Game 3 was a spectacle for experienced players. Experience was the name of the game though, as TNC eventually punished Adroit and closed the game, taking the series 2-1. Before the major, they had to attend one more tournament, ESL 1 Hamburg, which we have spoken about in detail in a previous video. Click on the annotation to find out. The major came around and TNC was itching to prove themselves. Placed in a group with Envy's Fighting Pandas, the legendary eHome and Team Unknown, TNC had their work cut out for them. Against Unknown, TNC had the fastest game and the fastest series of the tournament, quickly destroying them 2-0.
Both games don't even take 40 minutes in total for TNC. They finished this BO3 in less than 40 minutes and...
eHome was a harder challenge, but one that TNC overcame nonetheless. Winning 2 best-of-3s put TNC on top of their groups and in a comfortable spot in the upper bracket. They played their first match in the upper brackets against Alliance, a team who was on the rise in the EU scene. Alliance took TNC by surprise, winning Game 1 in 17 minutes.
It's Defense of the Ancient! Made real, Gabby low, alive, and OD Hammer number 2. Ineffective, and they can't do it! TNC! They worked for it.
It seemed that TNC wasn't the only team that knew how to run the carry Nightstalker, as that's what Alliance beat them with. TNC recalibrated their approach and came back with a different playstyle in Game 2 and Game 3, focusing more on fighting early and as 5, taking the series 2-1.
Now for the Lina, it's going to be a full 5-man wipe. No, Alliance TPing out, GGing out, denying that full team wipe at least, but...
The next challenge came against J-Storm. In Game 1, TNC fought J-Storm for 70 minutes, accumulating a massive goal lead, but unable to close out the game. J-Storm lay stuck to their base, realizing that TNC had poor ways of breaching high ground. When things started to turn around, TNC caught the J-Storm course without buyback and took Game 1. The team put up a valiant effort in Game 2, not willing to relinquish their upper bracket spot so easily. Despite their heroic attempt, TNC saw their weakness and capitalized on it, taking the series 2-0. Only one opponent stood between them and the grand finals, Vici Gaming. This time around, TNC would get the treatment they were infamous for meting out. Owing to a wild last pick Huskar, Vici Gaming shut down TNC in poetic fashion, closing the game in 28 minutes. Even Game 2 wouldn't offer TNC a chance at redemption. Vici once again caught them by the hip to make it a 2-0, dropping TNC to the lower bracket.
It's mounting. TNC, can they stop this? It doesn't look like they can. The Ancient falls. Vici Gaming take Game 2, and with that, the series 2-0. As Vici Gaming will be moving on to the grand finals. TNC, they'll get another chance, but they're going to be knocked down.
The lower bracket was a treacherous place, where they faced IG just one series away from elimination. Ever so cautious, TNC went back to their roots, picking up a Morphling Shaker in Game 1. IG was caught off guard, and TNC won the first game. Trying to take TNC by surprise, IG picked up Morphling for themselves. However, TNC was prepared. They went for a mid-game oriented draft, never giving IG the space they needed to come online, and taking the series 2-0.
And TNC moving on. The GG is called. Your minor champions falling short. Still a very solid finish. A top 3 here, gods. They already have enough points based on last year to qualify for TI.
Finally, they faced their nemesis who sent them to the lower bracket, Vici Gaming. Keen to take revenge and win the title of Major Champions, TNC exhausted every strat in their book.
TNC stomping on the faces of Vici.
Owing to this, TNC started the series by taking Game 1. Continuing to change things up, they threw a curveball with the final pick in Game 2, resorting to a Viper to prevent the enemy Tiny from snowballing. Consequently, TNC secured Game 2. But Vici had figured out their playstyle.
As TNC just destroyed Vici Gaming. What the hell happened? They forgot how to play Dota? What's going on?
Taking a page from TNC's book, they picked up a carry Night Stalker, winning the game and pulling the scoreline back to 2-1.
I don't know, guys. You're down 2 games. What are you going to do? But you see the tempo that they set with these 3 cores.
TNC had had enough. They wanted to win and win bad. Reminding why teams banned Morphling against them, they picked up the fabled Morphling Shaker duo. After some well-orchestrated teamfights, TNC leveled the playing field to an extent. They forced buybacks and took their first tracks at 54 minutes. Slowly, TNC built up a lead. Finally, in a game-winning play, TNC caught Leshrac in the sleep. An Ag Static Storm followed. The Leshrac was dead without buyback. The throne, after 63 arduous minutes, finally fell. TNC had just won a major.
TNC are your MDL Chengdu major champions.
The crowd very appreciative here. As their own team, of course, not able to do it. Vici taking the wins in the upper bracket, but not when it mattered most. And what a way to prove it for TNC that they're the better team. Is, oh god, alright, you pick me, Bristle, again.
TNC has virtually guaranteed their spot at TI-10. However, a bunch of majors lie ahead, and greater challenges await. Comment #PhoenixArmy down below if you want to see TNC win TI-10. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, you can show us your appreciation by hitting the like button down below. You can support us by subscribing to our channel. It helps us a great deal. Each subscription encourages us to make more of such content for you guys. Gonna go AFK now. See you later.